Guys, what's up? Welcome to another episode of the Coach Cody podcast. So now that I've talked enough about my shit show of a year that, these past 12 months have been, it's time to get a little more positive and talk about how to make goals for the new year. And, maybe you're not a goals person or a resolutions person. That's totally okay. I've got things for you as well. But I know for me, so I'm a goal person. I do like a good New Year's resolution, New Year's goal. And I got to say, after the year that I had, I was definitely a bit hesitant to make goals because I fell so short to last year's goals. Like, didn't even come close. Pretty sad and depressing, to be honest. So, coming up into this year, a little bit shy, a little bit worried, that I'm not going to hit my goals again, but it's better to have failed than to not have tried at all. I don't regret making the goals I made last year. I didn't hit them, obviously, but I don't regret trying. There's only one thing I regret. I know you're supposed to say you don't have any regrets, but that's bullshit. I regret hiring that business coach, hands down. Silver lining, yes, I got an OCD diagnosis. I'm hoping that like 10 years from now, when I'm in OCD recovery, that I'll be like, you know what? I don't regret that decision. Maybe at some point I will get there, but it's still fresh. So just not ready, just not there yet, unfortunately. But anyways, I wanted to also talk about, introducing a theme. I do both. So, if you're not a goals person, sometimes introducing a theme for the year, it's kind of like a mantra, might also be helpful, but I will talk about that in a bit. But first, I did want to go over why New Year's resolutions or goals tend to fail, why most of them do. So, biggest reason that New Year's goals tends to fail is because they're either too extreme, too vague, just too big in general, and your expectations are not in the right place. So you have to make sure that your goals are realistic, that they, you can actually reach them within that time frame, and you're not just going balls to the wall for some massive goal that you don't really know how to get there, because you need to also have a way to break it down and a roadmap to get to that bigger goal, which I will also go over. But another reason that New Year's goals tend to fail is because of getting into that all or nothing mindset. And like I say, when you have an all or nothing mindset, you are usually left with nothing. So it's okay, to make mistakes, not reach your goals. That is definitely something that I failed miserably this year, but I'm trying to also fail successfully and learn from the situation so I can keep moving forward. But so anyways, essentially, goals should work for you and not against you. And you don't want to set goals that make you feel like you're constantly falling short. So that's why you need to make sure that they are realistic, breaking them down. Small steps to reach that overall big goal. And not only is taking small steps important, but it is also vital. And that is something that I have been learning through ERP this year. I feel like I've talked about ERP so much, and it's just, despite kind of having bad luck in that area, I did get a new ERP therapist, but it has still taught me the importance of taking small steps, because when you take too big of steps, sometimes you might take too big of a fall to where you are too afraid to try again. I know for damn sure I'm not going to be trying to hire another business coach ever, most likely ever. And so if something hurts enough and you fail hard enough, you might never want to try again. And that's not necessarily something we want to happen. Unless it's a business coach, then that's fine. You don't need one. But anyways, so, if you want to lose 100 pounds, great. Then you got to start 1 pound at a time. So after losing 1 pound, you have 99 pounds left to celebrate each step of the way, as you should. And you have to remember to not only focus on achieving the outcome, you want to also focus on all of the little goals along the way, the process, because the things you learn along the way are just as valuable as that end goal, even if you fail, because you're learning something every step of the way. You're learning something, all right? So don't forget to acknowledge those lessons, even if it's not necessarily like an accomplishment. I always see learning lessons as accomplishments. So don't get discouraged if things don't work out the way that the way that you wanted them to. Failure isn't even failure. Sometimes it's just it's a detour, and at least failing gives us answers, because sometimes we don't try at all, and then you always have that what if question floating through your head. So at least if you try, you get rid of the what if, and not only do you get rid of the what if, you get the answer of yes or no. So now, when it comes to setting goals or a theme for your year, first of all, you want to set SMART goals, and that is specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. So this is going to make them more effective. This is a way that you can break them down. So for example, instead of saying, I want to get fit, say, I want to get fit by hitting the gym 3 times a week for 30 minutes. That way it's smaller. You can break it down, and it provides a roadmap for you. So how are you going to get fit? You're going to go to the gym 3 times a week for 30 minutes. Cool. So another example, say you're like, I want to improve my mental health. Awesome. That's a great goal, but it's very vague. So how are you going to improve your mental health? Okay. You're going to go to therapy once a week, and you're going to set time aside to journal and really make sure you're managing your stress. So those are, just 2 simple examples of how you might set, a SMART goal. Oh yeah, I was going to say, so it's supposed to be also, time bound, but with the, time limits on your training or therapy being like 1 day a week. I don't necessarily think you need to put like an end point goal, especially when it comes to weight loss, because it's really hard to know. Everybody is different. I don't necessarily like weight loss goals in general, unless you have a really, really large amount of weight to lose. It's okay to be like, yeah, I want to lose 100 pounds, because that might be the amount of weight you need to lose in order to get into like a healthy range. But if you're just looking to lose fat, a weight loss goal might not always be the best. Maybe you just want to improve your body composition. So how might you improve your body composition? Again, I don't like timelines on these either, because it's just kind of hard to know. There's so many different things that can come into play. Everybody's body is different. Life throws hurdles at you. So by time bound, you can set like soft timelines. So maybe you want to start, maybe 100 pounds is your goal. So maybe you can set a goal in 3 months, you want to lose 20 pounds, something like that. So hopefully that makes sense. But so a theme. So if you're not a goal person and you're kind of cringing at the thought of goals, or you just aren't really sure, you can set a theme for the year. And so sometimes instead of a specific goal, you just need a principle to anchor you. And that is why I came up with the theme for the year, which is fuck it mode. I talked about that a little bit in my last couple episodes. And so, the theme could be anything. It could be a word, it could be a mantra, it could be a quote, just something to remind yourself, what you wanted to set out for this year. So like fuck it mode for me, it just means taking back my power, not overthinking as much, not caring as much about what people think, and just like refusing anxiety or others to control my choices. And just like I do have OCD, and a lot of my goals are OCD related. So it does supplement my goal. My theme supplements my goals pretty well, or it complements it. So that's one way you can approach it. Or you can, just say, fuck the theme. You don't like the theme, just go for the goals. Or you could just go for the theme. And that way it is something that you can use throughout the year, no matter what you decide to do. It's almost like, this is really cheesy, but it reminds me of back in the day. So I went to a Christian school, grew up, Christian and stuff. We used to have those WWJ bracelets. Shout out to anyone who also used to have the WWJD bracelets. but it stands for what would Jesus do? So basically, throughout life, you come to, some decision you have to make, or maybe you're about to make a bad decision, make a bad choice. You ask yourself, what would Jesus do? And it kind of would help guide you in a direction, you know, that might be a better choice. We'll just say. So that's kind of like what a theme is. So, for example, I'm recording this podcast right now, and hey, I can overthink it. I can edit the shit out of it, or I could go into fuck it mode and just be like, yeah, I'm not going to overthink this shit. Whatever comes out of my mouth, that's what's going out in there into your ears. So I apologize on that, but I'm not going to overthink it. I'm not going to procrastinate or avoid it. So those are just some examples of how you can use a theme. So you might be wondering, how can I choose a theme? So the best way to do it is like, what do you want to get more out of your life? Do you want more courage, more joy, more fearlessness, less frustration? What do you want to let go of? Fear, anxiety, people in your life who suck, perfectionism, overthinking. Those are definitely things that I want to let go of. So example, so say you have also a theme of keep it simple. So it's just kind of a reminder to, cut the noise out of your life, focus on what matters, and don't overcomplicate it. Or say your theme is fuck fear. That used to be mine a few years ago. I don't know how well that went, but I didn't know I had OCD. So that just means, anytime you're feeling afraid, you might just say in your head, you know what? Fuck fear. I'm going to do this anyways. It's a lot like fuck it mode. Maybe I just like the word fuck, but that's okay. Maybe you like the word fuck too, or maybe you don't. And you're like, I am unsubscribing. Ooh. Well, I'm not going to overthink it. I'm just going to keep going. Or maybe your theme could be community or connection, because your overall goal is to meet more people, be more social, make more connections, and build your own chosen family. So these are all examples of themes, mantras that you could use throughout the year to help you with your decision making, even if you don't want to set any specific goals. It just gives you some sort of direction. Yeah. So how do you build habits that support your theme and your goals? So, as I said, the themes and your goals can work together depending what they are. And so, for example, fuck it mode could include setting more boundaries, saying yes to new opportunities, and, making content like this without overthinking. Yeah. So, or say your theme was balance. Examples of that, complementing your goals would be, scheduling to make more time for family, picking up a hobby, or practicing more self-care. So, telling yourself balance, maybe you're on the edge or on the verge of being like on this decision of, do I put in more hours of work this week, or do I go do this family thing instead? And then if you think of your theme balance, obviously it's probably going to be the family thing if you've already been working your ass off all day or all week, or, that sort of thing. So again, start small. Just make sure that you understand that, it's vital, and small steps are just as powerful, because it's actually what it's gonna get you to your goal. You don't just like hop up the steps. If you're walking up some stairs, you're not thinking, this is not going fast enough. I'm just going to literally jump from the bottom all the way to the top. It's a great idea if you could fly, but unfortunately, gravity is going to push you down on your ass. So just like gravity will push you down, and unfortunately, you cannot jump up like a full set of 20 stairs. Same thing with your goals. You can certainly try, but it's going to get discouraging pretty quickly, and you're going to notice that you really can't jump that high. So unless you learn how to levitate or fly, or unless, we got these drones flying around and we've got some alien powers beaming us up, we got to make some small steps. So yeah, anyways, make sure. So, life is going to happen. So don't get too stuck on your goals or themes. Again, this is just making sure you're not falling into this all or nothing mindset. And it's okay to pivot when you need to. And just learning from the situation. If things don't go your way, you can even revise your goals if you need. If the beginning of your year does not go like the middle of your year or the end, that is definitely something that I had to do this year. My goals went from thriving to surviving quite quickly. Um, my goal this year is just to not just be in survival mode. But yeah, just try to reframe setbacks. Goals and themes, or themes specifically, are not something that you fail at. It's just something that you use to recalibrate when you are feeling off or you're feeling like you're falling off track. So, yeah, don't get too caught up in the theme. If your theme is, fuck fear, if your theme is fuck it mode and you let anxiety get the best of you, I know I'm going to many, many times, even though this is my theme. It's not a cure all. Like, I have fucking OCD. Maybe you have anxiety. Maybe you have depression. So there's just things that we don't have the complete power over, but all we can do is focus on what we can control. And that is, there's that cliche quote of, it doesn't matter how many times you fail as long as you get back up, or, basically your failures do not define you. It's how you get back up afterwards, those sort of things. So just make sure that, even if you set a goal and a theme, it doesn't mean that it's all or nothing and you got to follow it no matter what. And if you don't, then fuck it. Just wait for the next year. So let's see here. I'm excited to embrace fuck it mode this year. I'm excited for a new year altogether. I feel like a lot of people have had hard years this year. So if you're on board with that, I would love to hear your theme or your goals going into the next year. And I know there's still a possibility of the year not going so great, but all I know is I'm ready to put this year behind me. And there's a lot of different things I'm focusing on this year, and I'm excited about it. Excited to keep working through my OCD. Excited to grow more. And I know that despite whatever happens, that I'm here for growth. And you can't fail at growth. Unless you literally quit and stay in bed and just refuse to leave. But I don't think any of us are here, are planning on doing that. So anyways, tell me your theme or your goals in the comments, whether you're watching on YouTube or Spotify. And I'd love to hear them. We can go over those, lend each other some support, and go into 2025 our strongest selves yet. So anyways, thank you so much for listening. Do not forget to subscribe if you have not yet. This is the last podcast of 2024, which is crazy. I think I restarted this podcast back in February or something. So I haven't quite hit a year of consistent podcasting yet. But when I do, I'll let you know. But I think, that was one of the goals that I followed through with this year, was getting my podcast started back up. So, hey, it wasn't all a loss. And, it's crazy. I'm at a point where I'm looking back and I'm finding a point of being proud of what I was able to still do, even if I was in survival mode. I was still able to stay decently consistent with things and still hit the gym, even though, most days it felt miserable and motivation was non-existent. And it just shows that just showing up is going to get you a long way. And it's going to give you a sense of pride looking back, thinking, that was really fucking hard, but I still showed up. I still showed up for myself because I knew it was important. And ultimately, that's what matters most at the end of the day. So it doesn't matter how slow you go. All that matters is that you keep showing up for yourself. All right. So on that note, thanks so much for listening. Peace out. And I will talk to you and see you next year.